WIT Inverters present you with Growatt's latest commercial and industrial energy storage solution. WIT inverters provide power ranging from 50 kilowatts to 100 kilowatts. There are 4 models to meet various customer demands. -HHU models incorporate PV input with up to 10 MPPTs, and the -HU-AU models integrate on-off grid switch. This video will take -HU model as an example to introduce the installation of WIT inverters. The operating temperature range of the WIT inverter is -30 degrees Celsius to 60 degrees Celsius. To ensure optimal performance and long service life of the WIT inverters, it is best to avoid direct sunlight, rain, and snow, and to install an awning over the unit. Here is the installation layout requirement for the inverter. In addition, please make sure there is enough space for workers to carry out the installation procedure. Before installation, we need to prepare installation tools. Here are all the equipment needed in the installation of WIT inverter. Notice: please read user manuals carefully before installation. Only qualified and well-trained technicians are allowed to install and operate the WIT inverter. Before unpacking the WIT inverter, check the shipping box for any externally visible damage. If any damage is found, please contact the shipping company as soon as possible. WIT inverter is securely packaged in a wooden container. First, we need to use flathead screwdriver and hammer to loosen the metal fasteners on each cover. Remove the top cover first and then the other covers. Collect the marking off template and the document bag on the foam pad. Then remove the foam pad, collect the accessory box. Use wrench to loosen and remove the metal fixings on the bottom of the inverter. After unpacking the WIT inverter, check if the scope of delivery is intact and complete. Refer to this table in the manual and check the following items. It's recommended to install the WIT inverter on the ground. First, use the marking off template to determine the location of the holes in the ground where the inverter is to be mounted. Then drill holes and insert 512 nuts in the accessory box into the ground. Place the bottom support plate next to the bottom of inverter. Pull out the telescopic handles at each corner of the inverter. Then lift the inverter to an upright position and place it on the bottom support plate. Notice: it requires 4 people to lift the inverter. Operate the forklift to insert the tines into the pallet openings to lift the inverter and then transport it to the installation position. The fork width should be less than 0.42 meters. Place the inverter in the right position and then tighten the screws. There are 2 other ways to move the inverter into position, lifting which requires 4 people using the telescopic handles, or hoisting, before which we have to install the hoisting rings in the accessory box onto the top of inverter as illustrated. Before starting wiring the inverter, make sure it is safely and firmly grounded. Notice: it is essential to connect the ground cable to the WIT inverter before connecting other cables to prevent personal injury or device damage. For a single WIT inverter, connect a ground cable to the ground point on the chassis shell. Remove the left cover plate and right cover of the WIT to prepare for wiring. Before wiring, check the following terminals on the left side panel of WIT inverter. On the right side panel of WIT inverter, the following terminals are located. The rated circuit breaker and power cable specifications are illustrated in the table. Please choose the appropriate breaker or cable according to the inverter model. Notice: before connecting cables, ensure that the DC switches on the WIT inverter are off. Turn off the switches and breakers on the AC side and the battery side. Otherwise, the high voltages of the WIT inverter may result in electric shocks. The waterproof silicone pad is used to protect the lower side of a terminal box. Cut holes in the pad according to the outer diameter of the cables to route them through. After routing through the cables, determine the cable strap length based on the specifications of the terminals. 18 to 22 mm is recommended. Crimp the cables and the terminals. First, connect the ground cable to the copper grounding bar in the AC junction box. Then we need to connect the main power cables according to the label. For HU or AU models, there is a set of load ports in the AC junction box. Connect another ground cable to the copper grounding bar. Then connect the cables to the load port. After connecting all the cables on the AC side, including main panels, then apply fireproof mud to the waterproof silicone mat at the inlet side. Connect the ground of the box panel. Lock the cover of the AC junction box after the fireproof mud is applied. The rated AC power cable specifications are illustrated in the table. Please choose the appropriate cable according to the inverter model. Notice: the maximum short circuit current of each PV string must be lower than or equal to 40 amperes. The power of the PV panels should not exceed twice the power of the WIT inverter. Strap 6 to 8 mm of the insulation layer of the DC cables. Insert the exposed core wires into the crimping area of the wiring terminal and crimp them using a crimping plier. Route the cable through the cable sealing sleeve and insert the insulation sleeve until it snaps. Then tighten the locking nut. The PV terminals are located on the right side of the H or HU model inverters as illustrated. A or AU models do not have PV terminals. Remove the dust cover of the PV terminal according to the number of PV terminals to be used. Insert the positive and negative connectors of the PV modules to the corresponding terminals of the inverter. The battery terminals are located on the right side of the inverter as illustrated. Remove the dust-proof cover and connect the battery cables to the battery terminals on the inverter. After connecting the main battery power cables, bind power cables at the reserved position. The BMS AC port is used for supplying power to the BMS of APX commercial battery. The pin definitions of BMS AC port are as illustrated. Remove the dust-proof cover from the BMS AC terminal and connect BMS AC cable to the terminal. The pin definitions of BMS COM port are as illustrated. Connect the communication cables to the corresponding terminals as required. Remove the dust-proof cover from the BMS COM terminal. Insert the 16-pin terminal, the client side, to the corresponding position and ensure that it is tightly connected. The external communication terminal of the WIT inverter is a 16-pin connector. Here are the pin definitions of COM1 port. Connect the communication cable to the corresponding terminal as required. Notice: when connecting external devices, such as the PC, please use isolated communication devices. Remove the dust-proof cover from the COM1 terminal and insert the 16-pin terminal, the client side, to the corresponding position. The parallel communication terminal COM2 of the WIT inverter uses a 30-pin terminal. Connect the communication cables to the corresponding terminals as required. Remove the dust-proof cover from the COM2 terminal and insert the 30-pin terminal, the client side, to the corresponding position. The WIT inverter is equipped with a USB port that allows for remote monitoring when connected to a monitoring device, such as a USB to Wi-Fi module, Shine Wi-Fi X2, Shine LAN X, and others. Remove the waterproof cover from the USB port. Insert the USB to Wi-Fi module, ensuring that the triangle icon is facing upward, and then secure it by tightening the screw as illustrated. If the module is working properly, its LED indicator will light up. After installation, please refer to the table in the user manual and check each item. Follow these steps to turn on the inverter. Turn the DC switches on the WIT inverter to the on position. Turn on the breaker between the grid and the inverter. Once the startup requirements of all terminals are fulfilled, the system will be powered on automatically. After finishing wiring on the right side of the WIT inverter, put the cover back and make sure the snap is in position. The installation is complete.